Right now at 6, the strike against the Big Three spreads to the northwest.
Hopefully this will get the Stellantis to kind of come back to the table seriously.
Plus, a couple of Seattle cops chase down a carjacking suspect and encounter a surprise.
Oh, I'm getting stung, dude.
Then, a Hillsborough gas station robbed at gunpoint. What the suspect did beforehand that led detectives, they say, right to his doorstep. But first, a devoted mother of 5 killed by a hit-and-run driver.
She always made sure her kids were always first no matter what.
The new push to boost safety along a dangerous stretch of road.
Good evening, everybody. Let's get right to breaking news in the Wilsonville area, where all lanes of northbound I-5 are now closed because of a crash near Charbonneau. This is just south of the Willamette River Bridge. You can see it's causing a major backup again here in the northbound lanes. A Life Flight helicopter has just landed on the interstate there. At this point, we do not have details about how many vehicles are involved or how many people are hurt, but quite a scene there, as you can see from the video. We, of course, will keep you updated as we learn more. Well, thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm David Molko. Now to our top story. A single mother struck and killed in a hit and run with few leads on a suspect, authorities say, and a family now hoping for answers. Thomas Schultz is live in Tigard along Hall Boulevard. Thomas, you talked to Maria Negrette's sister and one of her sons today. What did they tell you?
That she was a mother who spent her life providing for her family. Maria Negrette had 5 kids, 2 of whom at just 10 and 15 years of age still lived at home with her. And this evening, they're hoping for a breakthrough, that someone with information into that hit and run will come forward and tell them what happened. Though for now, until that happens, they say they don't know where else to turn.
My mom did everything for me, man. I owe her everything and more.
Everything and more. The role Maria Negrette played for each of her kids. Angel Garcia is her oldest son. He says all of Negrette's life, she put her 5 children first.
She suffered a lot. She worked way too hard, more than she needed to. And she endured all that on her own.
Around 9 o'clock Monday night, Garcia says Negrette and her boyfriend were driving along Hall Boulevard near Pfaffel Street. Her phone flew out the window, and Tigard police say they stopped in the center lane. Negrette got out, and police say her boyfriend heard a thud, quickly realizing she'd been hit. The other driver never stopped.
He could have just stopped if it was an accident. He's just making it worse for himself. We just want justice for Maria.
So does U.S. House Representative Andrea Salinas, who says she will fight for federal funding to reduce fatalities along this dangerous roadway. The same road where another woman was killed a year and a half ago in a different hit and run. That was on Lucille Court, just a stone's throw away from where Negrette died. Now, as they mourn and plan a funeral, her family is facing another issue, trying to find a new home for Negrette's 2 youngest kids.
My mom slept with my 10-year-old sister every night, so just her not coming home and not being with her it's already a lot, man.
Not coming home, though milk, toilet paper, and food are still in her car, meant for her children. And while they comfort each other, her family continues to look for justice.
I'm trying to keep it together for all of us, but I break too, and it's very hard.
Trying to keep it together, she says. And a vigil was planned to begin in just under an hour, but as you can see, family members are already here with t-shirts with Maria's face on it, candles, balloons, and flowers as well. And right now, there doesn't appear to be any information about the person who did this, but the family remains hopeful, David, that somebody will do the right thing, come forward, whether as a witness or who was involved in the crash, and contact Tigard Police. David?
Yeah, and the sooner the better. Thomas Schultz in Tigard. Thank you, Thomas. We've got an update this evening on the case of baby Precious. She is the newborn found dead in a Portland recycling bin, a decade ago. It turns out her real name was Amara, and today her father pleaded not guilty to manslaughter charges. This is video of Alnath Omar Oliver in court in a wheelchair at his arraignment. This is a story that shocked and saddened the Rose City. Investigators revealing on Thursday that a DNA sample from the baby's remains and one from an ancestry database eventually led them to the baby's mother and then her father. Community members who came together years ago to mourn the infant and give her a proper burial say they are relieved by the break in the case.
I was overwhelmed because to think about it, you know, we're talking about 10 years ago, and to think about the fact that there's justice for Precious.
Justice for Precious. Oliver faces multiple charges, including concealing the baby's birth as well as rape. The mother in this case was only 15 when she gave birth, and authorities say she will not face charges. Detectives say she was under the belief that her baby had survived. In tonight's other headlines, an accused serial rapist in the Hazelwood neighborhood will remain behind bars while he awaits trial. 49-year-old Konstantin Svidenko has been indicted on 17 counts, including first-degree rape and kidnapping, after 4 women came forward. At a preventative detention hearing this morning, prosecutors argued Svidenko is too dangerous to be out on bail.
Svidenko is a very violent individual that is using methamphetamine, using other drugs. He's assaulting people. He's raping women, trying to rape them. He is the definition of a danger to the members of the public and to the victims.
Police say they believe Svidenko may have other victims. They are encouraging any survivors to come forward. In Hillsborough, it seems a suspect gave himself away by calling to check the hours of a gas station he was allegedly about to rob. A man with a revolver robbed the Arco on Northwest Glencoe Road just after 9 last night. An employee told detectives who responded about someone who'd called a couple hours earlier asking what time that mini mart closed. Investigators say they traced the call to 19-year-old Angel Cruz Soto, who lives less than a mile away. When they showed up at his house, authorities say they found a revolver, a ski mask, and clothing that matched the suspect in the surveillance footage. And take a look at this. We told you about the heavy fog on Thursday that caused a massive pileup on I-84 in eastern Oregon. Today we learned that 17 vehicles were involved. OSP says one person was life-flighted from east of Pendleton to a Tri-Cities hospital with serious injuries. Somehow everybody else made it out with only minor injuries. 2 semi-trucks and a car were destroyed by the fire there. It took officials 8 hours to reopen that stretch of highway. Matt?
Thanks so much, David. You know what? We transition from summer to fall tonight. We are just literally hours away from that happening at 11:50 p.m. And just like that, our weather is going to transition from our near 80-degree day today to much cooler and eventually wet weather towards the end of the weekend. Here's Cannon Beach for you right now. You see the clouds beginning to roll in, the leading edge of a change towards cloudier, cooler, and eventually wet weather. This is the water vapor imagery. Lots of moisture out there. When you combine that with a jet stream that is pushing 140, 150 miles an hour rolling into Oregon, you combine those two things and you end up with an atmospheric river, which is aimed right at Oregon Sunday night and into Monday, and then potentially another one coming at us as we go into Wednesday. So there's a couple of strong storms headed our way over the course of the next week, and it will add up to a lot of rain for western Oregon. You know who's going to get a lot of rain? The fires in southern Oregon. That's the Anvil Fire, Smith River Complex, nearly 100,000 acres. We've got flood watches in those areas because the rain will be so heavy. Also a high wind watch for the southern Oregon coast for Sunday night and into Monday. So headlines look like this. The rain will be heavy at times, but not until late in the weekend, Sunday night into Monday. Much of the weekend will be dry, and then heavy rain again on Wednesday. Debris flows and landslides are possible on the wildfire burn scars. That is a major concern, especially when the rain gets heavy in the coast range like it will. And then plan for a very slow commute on Monday morning, because that's going to be a very rainy period, our first of the fall. David?
Thank you, Matt. We'll see you in a few minutes. Let's talk about the United Auto Workers strike, which expanded dramatically today with employees across 20 states now walking out. That includes workers at a parts facility in Beaverton. Tim Gordon talked to those on the picket line along Southwest Allen Boulevard, where the strike is now more widespread.
Well, more widespread now and really going after GM and Stellantis with this. And because Chrysler is owned by Stellantis, this parts center was one of the 38 facilities across the country with strikers out front today. On the last day of summer, the United Auto Workers strike heats up in Beaverton. 43 workers from Local 492 got the call from their UAW president to strike. So now they're working the picket line along Southwest Allen Boulevard.
We're out here doing our part, and hopefully this will get the Stellantis to kind of come back to the table seriously and start negotiating at the national level so we can get a contract and get back to work.
Rob Perdue is the UAW Local 492 president, who's worked at the Chrysler Parts Distribution Center 27 years. He says getting a fair contract with the big three automakers is worth the strike effort. Others wore T-shirts saying record profits equal record contracts. They say they're frustrated that so far Stellantis isn't willing to take care of workers.
They have taken from us for years. The last few contracts have been terrible. They don't want to give it back, and they're making money. Car prices went up. They went up, up, up. Everybody knows that. And they're making money hand over fist, but they don't want to give it to the people that make the cars.
Sarah Smith says they're already feeling the support from people driving by.
We've seen so many people just, they come by, they honk, they wave, and that really brings our spirits up.
And from other union workers joining them on the picket line.
As it says, an injury to one is an injury to all, So I'm out here supporting our siblings in the UAW.
As for Perdue, he says they'll strike as long as it takes to get a fair deal.
We're just kind of tired of the tactics or the things that they've done over the years of tearing our memberships apart with not giving us equal pay, COLA, the different things, some of the broken promises they've made.
So the effect on consumers locally, well, if you drive a Chrysler vehicle and you want to take it into the dealership to have it serviced, well, parts may become in short supply. That's because they're parts that come from this center. But Perdue asks for your patience and your support. In Beaverton, Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Let's talk about our homeless crisis now. After a county audit called the joint office that is meant to find solutions to homelessness in Multnomah County essentially disjointed, the county and city met this afternoon to talk about a way forward. Ashley Grams is just back from that meeting and joins us with a preview of what is coming up on the story. Ashley.
Right, David, there's really been no promises yet, but Mayor Ted Wheeler says these discussions on fixing homelessness need to happen more often and in front of the public. This meeting comes after a new audit of the Joint Office of Homeless Services found the city and county-run program lacks clear vision, coordinated leadership, and transparent communication. Health Management Associates of Oregon lays out the dysfunction of this office, saying there seem to be no clear set of strategies or measurable outcomes. Another complaint is lack of communication. People on the ground providing services to the homeless don't feel they are included in decisions at the regional level. Mayor Wheeler says it's time for everyone to get involved.
We're now clearly defining what the problem is. The problem definition being completed, now we can set the goal. We have to be very public and very clear. What is our goal? If we have disagreements about it or how to get there, we should vet them publicly, not do the Portland passive-aggressive thing and just sweep it all under the table and block each other's efforts to move forward collectively. We have to be honest about this. That has been happening.
Another issue is gaps in the shelter strategy. The audit says the pathway to housing needs to be clear, and clients need access to other county offices like behavioral health. Well, coming up on the story at 6:30, I'll take a look at the possible solutions to some of these issues, and you'll see why not all local leaders are on board. David?
The Portland passive-aggressive thing, another vote for transparency there. Thank you, Ashley.